Hello and welcome everyone to the next episode of the Analytics India Magazine podcast, Simulated Reality. Today we have with us the CEO of data engineering firm Agilisium, Babu. Hi Raj, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here. You know, this juncture is very important because Agilisium as a company, we heavily focused on data engineering, cloud data engineering, AWS. Now actually we are in a juncture, we are transitioning to a data professional organization. Data engineering is going to be an important part of it, but we are going to cover the entire spectrum of data. That way we can help our customers with the whole spectrum, not just one piece of it. So it's a great juncture in our company's point to be here and joining you for this podcast.
I wanted to understand as a company why I asked you provide the AI/ML solutions as well is because while it is important to lay the foundation
Correct.
through different these things, is it something viable to just provide data engineering solutions or the AI/ML which adds on to the value of it, because that is the final value add on, right? While this is the base of it. So do you provide the entire stack or like is it just you provide only data engineering services?
So that's a very good, interesting question. See, the data is considered as an asset of an organization. Every organization treats it as an asset. So the asset part of it, basically bringing the data together and all that stuff, that's kind of they consider that as an infrastructure work. Okay, they let others do that. But the AI/ML part of it, they generally consider, not always, but generally consider that is core to their business, and that they don't want to give it out to others as much as possible. They want to keep in-house because that is where they think the secret sauce is. So most of the work companies, most of the work given out to the external vendors, partners, service providers is data engineering, which is the big, huge workload is happening there. But the AI, ML and BI, 60%, 50% to even 100%, the companies want to keep it themselves because they think that is their secret sauce and they don't want other people to read their secret sauce.
Is it? So that's very interesting, right? But what if the person who is building the base is the most capable of kind of building the end solution as well? Because then what do you do? Like, do you offer both or
We offer both. We offer both.
But people prefer just
most of our workload in data engineering. And
Achha.
if you in the data field, if you seek most of the large companies, you take all the large GSI, right? Large GSI, hands down, you can tell 25 to 30%, 30 to 35% of their revenue comes from servicing data only. Only data, and of that data business, a significant portion of the data business, 60% of the data business comes from data engineering. So take entire the world of business, IT. Out of that entire business, IT, 30 to 40% is all data. It's all about working with data. Out of that 30 to 40%, 50 to 60% is data engineering of some sorts or other.
Okay.
They call it ETL, they will call it data engineering, they will call it data wrangling, they may call whatever, they will call it with different names. Essentially, it's bringing data together, stitching it together and keeping it in a place where somebody can make some sense out of it.
Correct. And also that kind of defines a lot of ways, this digitization that is being carried out. And you said that so much of the business of these IT companies is data related, and that is the reason is the kind of digitization. Is that why the journey of majority companies went from product centricity to customer centricity, where they kind of try to identify customer needs rather than creating products and just this thing? And in this, then how does data engineering tech stack come in?
See, I think it's a very see, there is a lot of things happening in the world now, right? And I think the closest you can tell is the Web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, right? Basically, Web 1.0 started in 99, ended in 2005, somewhere like that. Web 2.0 is 2005 to now, right? So the more devices are connected, right, more data. The more data is there, we have better ability to understand and do a better supply chain. And more innovation is coming now, you see. Basically, various innovations are coming because we are looking at the data and we are looking at the people's behavior and we are saying, okay, hey, this is not served well. This is not. That's why in fintech there is so much of innovation. Healthcare there is so much of innovation. One thing in your question I interestingly read it, customers are not driving the innovation. Small percentage of customers are only driving the innovation. What is happening is today the technopreneurs are looking at the stuff and they are looking at the opportunity and they are driving the innovation. See, the olden days, necessity used to drive innovation. These days, you don't even know what you want tomorrow. The customer, the market is bringing up because somebody is looking at this information and they are looking at, okay, hey, here is a gap, here is an audience that's not served well, or they can be served better. And then that guy goes and starts another company and that becomes the next tool and immediately that's an app in your phone.
Correct.
So the innovation people basically, but where do you get this information? Either you make your decision based on your gut or you make informed decision. Anything informed decision means that's data driven. And that's why data is fundamentally essential for everybody and everything we do. And it's getting complex and complex not because it's big. It's becoming complex and complex is because the variety of number of things you need to take for me to understand Kashyap is so difficult. There is so many data points I need to stitch it together. And then depending on what is my use case, I need to pick which data sets are relevant. And then I need to prioritize the relevance of the data set. All these are complex. You need to bring them together, you need to stitch them together, you need to prioritize them, all that stuff. That's why, but once you do all this stuff, you got a holy grail. You will have answer. You will be able to do service better than your competitor. That's why everybody is running behind data.
But that's a very interesting point you make, right? But then it's not entirely a debate about customer centricity or product centricity. Customers don't know that they are driving the innovation. Their data is being collected irrespective. The ethical aspects of it, maybe maybe an entirely different conversation altogether.
Right.
But that's very interesting. Because I was just looking at the need for data engineering, right? And I thought that since all of the digital technologies are coming in and every part of our life is becoming digitized or smart, that we kind of do this. But then how do companies and their thought processes change as they function, right? So when I want to start a company, let's say, and I want to offer a service, it can be in any sector. I want to discuss the complexities of data engineering in different fields later, but let it be in any sector. Then what is the kind of processes that change because now that we are digitized, and so that what should they keep in mind so that they ensure that they can enable data driven decision making within them, and how does data engineering enable that?
See, I think there is enormous amount of opportunity in the world where with the sophisticated data processing we can solve lot of different problems. I think in the world what we have done is, see, we have plenty of everything. What has happened is that really we don't have a proper supply chain, right? Efficient supply chain engine, intelligent supply chain engine. So what's happening? So take an example. Before we used to rent a taxi, right? 10-15 years ago we used to rent a taxi. The taxi used to come, stand in front of your house, the driver used to wait for you to come, and then you come 1 hour later, pick up, drop, and after 2 hours they will drop, and you have some work. They were going to wait for 5-6 hours, and then you get, there was a less value, he or she was able to deliver, and now with the data driven application, now Uber is there. Now, the moment you want all working fine, the 10 minutes before the driver is there in front of you. That driver is dropping you where they have to drop and they are going. Now, per day, now that person is able to do 5 or 10 drops, right? Before they used to do 1 drop, right? Because they don't know when you will be. Today, they have 5 to 10 drops. That same car can go multiple places and all that stuff. So, what changed here? The car was a car, the driver was a driver. But what happened is that the data systems connected multiple demand and supply. So, this same car and driver, instead of servicing one customer, is able to in that same time service 10 customers. Now, the value he is creating or she is creating is 10 times more. The money he or she is getting is 10 times more, right? This is, so take this thought process and apply it to everything in the world we do. Be it food, be it electricity, be it transportation, be it supply chain, be it this sofa. Tomorrow you may not need this sofa, but this sofa could be put use into something else. Just because you don't need that, it doesn't mean it's useless. But it is useless today because there is no proper supply chain to understand the use of this and use it, correct? But the moment you created a supply chain end to end, then you are maximizing the value of everything. That maximization of value of everything happens through data.
Availability of data to the right stakeholders at the right time very quickly.
Exactly.
So one of the things that have always talked about now especially, and one of the things that we think will define the next trends as a media organization, we are observing while self-service analytics, which is what it is called, making the right data available to right stakeholders. There's huge streams of data, right? The data is coming from there, here and there, and then which data is correct. Like what I'm trying to say is achieving the single source of truth and then making the right data available to everyone comes through data governance, right principles of data governance, right? And so how does data engineering help this data governance, or vice versa? How does data governance principles help data engineering, right?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. It doesn't. It has zero play in that. The reason this is going to be a major challenge, what you're talking about, right? It's like the same thing in the media organization. You're in a technology media, so there is not a lot of sensational topics here. But if you go to political media, there is 1,000 medias, correct? And they all need to have a place. And which is truth, which is relevant, which is not truth, is in today's world impossible to figure out. The same thing is happening with that data, because a company is operating, so many data sets are there, trying to figure out how to take it, how to do, and doing a data lineage, doing a data governance, and telling what is the truth. There is no single truth also, right? You can arrive at a single truth, but when they are coming in, there are multiple layers of truth. You need to take these truths, you need to prioritize them, and you need to kind of collage them and then make a most relevant singular truth information. That's actually a difficult part, and that's why I'm telling you this process cannot be automated completely, because the world is continuously moving, right? We know today the life cycle of any technology is only 3 years. Every 3 years, what is the greatest and the latest today is becoming old 3 years from now. And that happens to everything. It happens to cars, it happens to phone, everything the technology is making. So then when everything is moving so fast, so many new apps are coming and people are also adapting it, learn to adapt it. What is the golden standard today? Day after tomorrow, it loses its golden standard. It becomes a silver standard. 1 week later, it becomes a bronze standard. So you need to continuously keep up with that, and that is a difficult part here.
No, it's a very, I had heard that history has, the history is told by different people and they have different views. I never thought that someone running in data would say that, which is a very interesting perspective, that even data is not that definitive.
The only reason because is that, it's because of our knowledge, right? The 3 V's, right? The variety, the velocity, and the volume. Forget the volume here. The variety, right? before you had two medias or two knowledge, before we had library, one library or school to make a understanding and a decision. After that you got probably a school library and a university library, two parts of information. Today you have the YouTube, the Google and everything else in between, correct? So when these number of informations are there, you are that you need to take them into considerations. And also as day passes, more and more information is coming, so the relevance also changes. What was best today is not best tomorrow, just like the university ranking changes, college ranking, company rank, same thing. So you need to keep on kind of understanding, because the world is moving. You cannot tell this is a golden standard and stand there, because the entire world is moving.
So the truths or the action which follows data, right, will change at a very fast pace, and that, so basically what it needs to be enabled by is technology, so that we, even if data can tell many stories, you should be able to arrive at something that helps you whatever, achieve your goal. It can be scaling a business or anything. How does data engineering come in here to kind of enable it? What are some of the technological adoptions in terms of data engineering that companies need to take, so that they probably come to the, or get visibility into the best truthful, or best or truthful, the most truthful data?
Yeah. See, I think, before I come to data engineering, I'll tell today, innovation happens, there is no literally in the, see, all business is digital business, right? That's something kind of, it's established, right? You can have a garbage business, but garbage business today is a digital business, right? Because every business is the infrastructure and the framework, their decision making, everything is a digital business, right? So technology is kind of taken over all the business, and there is no digital business without data. Data is one of the core ingredient of digital business, right? So now when the data is the core ingredient, basically, you need to the data engineering part. So how you take this data, how you bring them together. Even before, there is two data every business needs, right? They need internal data and there is external data. Internal data, you cannot just operate your business based on, your readers, your audiences, how many are there, what they are reading, all that stuff. But you are not going to make all your decisions only based on your internal data. You are going to look at the market data, others data, everything. So you need to understand what's happening so that you stay relevant. Same way, every business needs internal data and external data, market data. So they need to build systems to bring in their internal data. They need to buy data from the market to get the external data. They need to marry both together, and they need to then have it for making decisions. Data engineering, the first step is to identify what are all the internal data sources and the external data sources are relevant for your business decision making. That's step number one. Step number two, then defining what is the sequence order in which you want to bring in the data into your system, right? Whether you want every millisecond, every hour, every day, week, month, whatever it is, right? So you bring in those data, you bring them together and kind of collage them together. All that work is data engineering. Fortunately, one of the reason why the Web 2.0 kind of, I think, really significantly took over, paved the way to Web 3.0 in some ways, is a cloud. Before, what we used to do is that you need to go and buy a huge investment, any company, innovation company. Why today you see so many SaaS companies? Why do you see so many companies innovating today? What is the innovation happening today could not have happened 15 years ago. There is no way. Why? One simple reason. Because before, when somebody has to go and start a technology business or whatever, the cost of starting a business is very high. They need to go get an office. They need to get a data center. They need to get a server. They need to buy a software. And all these software companies and the data center companies are not going to even talk to these guys sitting in the garage with a couple of $100. Today you can have a couple of $100, go online and you can get all the compute you need in the world, all the softwares you need in the world online. So cloud of various sorts, infrastructure cloud, software cloud, whatever it is, they are a foundation definitely for this. Now what has happened in the cloud, now there is a plethora. When I was in IT, in 2002, we remember only 6 or 7 technology. That's it. You had a data center, you were either called an Oracle shop or a Microsoft shop. Okay, there used to be one Oracle database or a SQL Server database or some IBM database. That's it, right? Pretty much 90% of the market. And then you had one ETL tool, right? If at all you had, or you did SQL programming, or you had BI, and most of that were client server technology. The web was also not there, just they were moving towards web. Today, there is 10,000 times more technology from that time. In that 15 years, 20 years, 15 years, I'm talking about the number of tools and technology.
Is that a bad thing?
It's a very good thing.
It's a very good thing.
It's a phenomenal thing.
Okay.
But comes with a variety is a complexity.
Okay. So then, but cloud is an enabler.
Cloud is a foundation enabler. Without that, none of this would have happened.
Acha,
or most of this would not have happened.
Yeah, because I thought that as you were moving to initially there was just like a small number of products. Now there's like a plethora of products and there's like this thing. So I thought that then probably, are you saying that now, cloud can, also be, not an enabler basically?
Yeah, now cloud is an enabler. I think what is happening is that, see, when you have before, right, like for example, it's the same confusion. Let's assume you have to wear an office white shirt and grey pant. And let's assume you had the luxury of how many ever shirts and pants you wanted. If you had only one light white shirt and grey pant, you have no confusion in the morning. One white shirt, one white pant, you're going to wear, go to your office, correct? But if you are in a media kind of person, right, if you in the place where your dressing is important for your profession and a career, whatever you are doing, it is a decision making every day you have to make, right? There is so much variety, all that stuff. Same way in the technology business today, if all business is technology business, there are a lot of decisions they have to make. And these are now what has become, even a non-technology business has become a technology business. So they all need a technology people, and there is 10,000 options, decisions they have to make for building a product or a solution. This is why the demand for technology people is more than ever before, because I'm in the business of running a retail store, right, online or on brick and mortar. But I cannot run this business without all this technology. So now they need all these technology people to run even a simple brick and mortar store. That's why the technology people, the need for technology people and the data engineering has become essential, and it will continue to exponentially go because of one reason. Because the variety and the velocity is going to exponentially grow. It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
It is not going to stop. It's going to go crazy and crazy and crazy, which is in a positive way. It's not in a negative way, but it's that variety is bringing a lot of value. That velocity is also bringing a lot of value. No question about it. But it is complex. It's like that old oil, right? Remember, before they used to dig a oil, they will used to think, I think, a vertical oil. You put one pipe, immediately the oil will come. Simple, straight, right? But today, they are able to extract oil by fracking, and these are all complex engineering. Offshore, right, you have to go in the ocean and drill. All these are complex engineering. They are significantly complex than doing a drilling in the land and taking an oil in a straightforward way. But with that complexity, the amount of value they deliver is definitely high.
Yeah, so basically technologies are also going high, data is also exponentially increasing. Together you marry them, but to marry both of them together you need talent.
You need talent.
Which is not, so basically last year we predicted there will be more dearth of data engineers than data scientists. Most of the leaders that we spoke to agree with it. Are you facing the same difficulty?
It's the same difficulty. See, I think the data scientist has become just a fancy word, right? Anybody who wanted their parents to become a scientist, they did not become, they are going data scientist, I think they are calling themselves, right? I can tell you, 90% of the people who call themselves a data scientist cannot really tell what data scientist means. But that's fine. See, data
Thank
science.
God I'm not a data scientist anymore.
Yeah,
I was. Would have felt like a personal attack. I was a few years back.
No, I think the thing, see, the data science, it's a genuinely, I think, see, my problem is not with the profession, my problem with the dilution of what it is, right? Like everybody, it's used in a very loose way, right? There is definitely, like for example, see, today I will tell you, the importance of data and how you know, data really played a key role in the humanity in a one singular way. When COVID hit, right? So they were all these strains were going on, and I don't know, there was a forum of data scientists from different part of the world were taking the different strains of the COVID data, analyzing it, right? Who are the specialists in that, and they were putting that in the public forum, right? They were sharing intelligence with each other, and this significantly helped us to, you know, the vaccination. Previously, it was told for anybody to come with an vaccination, it's a 3 or 5 year period, life cycle to come with a vaccination.
Yeah.
We found a vaccination in 18 months.
Yeah.
Unheard of, unheard of. And most of that, and the data had a significant contribution to that, because people were able to share their thing and collaborate and all that stuff. In today, one of the industry we focus is pharma and life science.
Yeah.
Today, pharma and life science industry, the medicines mostly, innovation is not happening in the laboratory, physical laboratory.
It's happening in AI, drug discovery.
Drug discovery is happening in data.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? We would not have thought. Most of the drug discovery is happening in the data analysis and data engineering and data sciences, right? They are investing heavily that industry. So I think really it's a serious field. I think if somebody does a serious work, it's definitely there is serious value to be taken out. But data engineering is, see, data engineering is a foundation. Whether you are doing a AI, forget AI, ML, data science, ML, machine learning algorithm, or BI, advanced analytics, you need the data engineering to bring the data together. Without that, so basically data has to be in a place for any of these other guys to operate, be it BI, advanced analytics, visualization, AI, ML, whatever, right? They can operate only on the data, but data engineering is the foundation. That's even before the data comes to this place. So without data engineering, none of this can happen.
Yeah, I think this is the only field where engineering has become less sexier than being a scientist, because of the maybe probably the HBR article which was there. But in saying so, what next for data engineering, right? And where do you see the field going? While life sciences is a big potential, and you are extensively working on it, and there's always been data heavy industries like retail, pharma, banking. Where else? Where else do you see the innovation?
See,
scaling?
I think really, right. I think we need data engineers. I think we need data scientists, data analysts, right, in the data field. But I think what we need more over the years is data professional, right? So let me define what is my definition of data professional.
Okay.
So it's like a data professional is kind of a Swiss Army knife, right? Because we have people who only do today, they will do data engineering. They will bring the data and put it here, leave it. And then we have a BI person who will do only BI, right? We have a visualization person, or a BI administrator, or a ETL administrator, right? And then we have a AI ML person. I think for a data professional who is trained in all this, which could be, right, with the technology tool today, we can definitely train them all in all of this, right? Of course, they may be a solid expert in one more than other, but we can train them in all this. That way, we don't need 5 people to solve one problem. I would rather have one data professional solving one problem end to end, right? That is, I think, should be the forward direction, right? Because that way the data professionals, we can give a problem and tell, okay, go solve this problem and come back to me. That means a data professional should be a business analyst, right? The data professional should be having some level of design thinking concepts, right? They should have data visualization capability, right? And they should be having the data informix, right? Presenting the data in an information way. They should have that capability, and they should be data storytellers, right? They should be data storytellers, because all this data you put in someone, you need to narrate a story. What is this data trying to tell? I think we need to create people like that. So ideally, they would be engineers in their background, but MBA with some level of business acumen and MBA. At least that is what we in Agilisium are trying to create. That's what I want to build. I told more and more I want to build. Actually, Agilisium, we are working on rebranding our company to Agilisium Labs. What Agilisium Labs, basically what we want to be is that we want to really be the innovation lab for our clients. Either we go to their lab environment, our professionals work in innovating their solution, or they give a problem to us, we put it in our lab, our professionals work. Doesn't matter, either way. But we are trying to solve a data problem or trying to solve a business problem using the data, correct? And what I am doing actually, we are just now rolling out this is the first batch. We are stopped data engineering. Before we used to train and graduate people only in data engineering. Now we are running data professional graduation. That means they will finish their data engineering, basic BI, all the training. What we are doing, once this is people who we hire into the company. Once they come into the hub, we give an offer letter. They go through a basic 2 to 3 month training, and then for them to finish their training is they have to graduate as a data professional. A data professional means they have to go online, they need to pick a data case study, they need to do data engineering, they need to do data modeling, they have to do a BI, right? And then they have to do visualization, they have to tell data storytelling. Then we are going to ask them to PowerPoint presentation. They need to do videos talking about it, multiple videos. Then only they graduate, because this is what our clients want.
Correct.
Because a client is trying to solve one problem, you send 5 people, right? And the 5 people which you don't have.
Yeah,
right?
Build multiple resources.
Multiple, right?
Yeah.
And we are juggling people. Rather, we invest in the people, try to be them trained in multiple things. Because end of the day, this is not we are asking a guy to do BI in one and then going and asking that person to do a mobile app and a website. That is not what we are asking. Everything we are asking them to do is within the data space. It's trying to solve one singular problem, that is take the data and tell what the data is trying to tell you. Present that. That's all we are trying to do. So we want to train data professionals. So, the data professional will be a data engineer, a data analyst, a business analyst, and a data scientist.
I think with that Swiss Army vision for a data professional, I would like to end this podcast. I think it's a fantastic, oversight that you are looking after. I think that will bring maybe a generalist data professional, right, who's good at everything.
Right.
While it is important to have specific people with specific skill sets, especially with various advanced technologies, someone who can do end to end. But wonderful talking to you, Raj.
Pleasure.
Thank you
very
so much for
I
coming
thoroughly
today.
enjoyed it.
And I really hope the data engineering field enables us to different heights.
Thank you.